Hold on, we're live. No, you like, no, you owe.
No, because it's like
that's what you made it seem like.
No,
well, hold on.
And you also made it seem so kind of
No, no, you made it seem.
Are we live?
Yeah, we live. Hell yeah, we live. Oh my god.
We'll talk about it. We'll pick this up. The pieces. Ain't
no pieces to pick up. Shit.
Mr. Brando over here trying to y'all. He trying
somebody
to
trying to hustle me out my money.
No, he trying to debo me.
Oh my god, man! I ain't gonna get my money. Join Patreon, man. Subscribe to YouTube. Join the movement. We'll probably do a little something tonight about something. It's about something. And something. If Miss BB's address subtraction don't fail her. She be trying to get me, man. She don't think I get up early, man. You trying to take advantage of a young pimp, man. I'm just trying to be out here trying to like do right by y'all. What up, y'all? Gang, gang, gang! Daisy in the house. She want to talk to the superstar tonight. Man. Daisy. Here, look, Daisy, look.
What just happened? The music stopped?
Yes. What y'all doing?
We waiting for you.
Waiting on you?
You got a lot of people waiting.
Who waiting on me?
The whole gang is out there waiting.
The whole gang?
229 of your closest friends.
Dang. Gang.
Hey, Steve-O, my niece is in here tonight. She had to go to work.
Wait a minute. What are they talking about Niecy about?
Everybody like to see Kayla.
Want to see Kayla?
They want to see live. They want to see Kayla live.
Y'all can't see Kayla live.
They like, she's cute. Just like her auntie. Need some fresh meat in the house. So she can sit there and play on her phone.
So she can do this all the time. Shawnee ain't pay attention to y'all.
Shout out to Kayla.
Shout out Kayla, man, for real.
Loving Kayla, gang. Okay, let me get back to this. I am April BB. I'm gonna let Mr. Brando get his bearings together real quick.
Man, y'all.
Because he forgot we live.
I ain't forgot nothing.
We live. I understand my introduction. Where's yours at?
I am Mr. Brando.
He was out there popping fireworks all night. Catching up with
if y'all saw the fireworks video and gave him a thumbs down, well, I'm giving you a middle finger up because that's just some whack shit. For real.
Who said that?
Your mothers. Somebody give me a thumbs down on my fireworks video. I didn't get to the big ones. If you give me a thumbs down on my fireworks video,
you're going to be demonic.
I don't even care. This could be a freebie.
That's okay. They take your channel down. Okay.
Oh my God. I'm not 365. I don't give a.
No, not 365. More like Poondi.
Poondi eggs. Poondi. If y'all listen to like Todd the Guy or DDG, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Audience don't listen to that.
I know y'all.
You
I know
got
y'all
me listening to them. So.
And if you get my thumbs down to my my little fireworks display, I didn't even record that for y'all. That was for me and my family. Then you know what? You can suck all this.
Oh, we were here for the news. Introduce yourself.
I already did.
You did? You did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I didn't hear you. No, really.
Oh my God. Wednesday. Okay. Mass graves that were contained in the rain. Okay, well, first of all, let's start from this. Let's get this out of the way. So, yes, the CBI put out a statement talking about the auctions, okay? And they said that basically the sale and the distribution for one time a week throughout the window. And people are going to tell me, well, this person or that person is going to say, well, the auctions, Mr. Brando. Remember, most of these people that talk about the auctions have all told you the auctions have to stop. The auctions are not going to be, the auctions are going to stop. You got to stop the auctions. That's not true. I've told you guys many times, and I'm not just trying to say I'm first. I care nothing about being first anymore, really, right? Because when I saw this information about the CBI, I cared nothing about jumping on, being on live, and being like, y'all, listen, the auctions are changing. The auction, it doesn't matter about the auctions changing until the auctions actually change, right? Until I see a one sale a week window. Now, remember this about the auctions. You're not going to stop the auctions before the reinstatement of the Iraqi dinar, because if you did, it would collapse the economy. At first that was a day-to-day filler for the economy. But I think because they think that they're really feeling a surplus from the actual budget from shipping out oil, because there's a lot of people saying, well, you've made more budgets in this country than you could have in your own country for at least 3 or 4 years. I think a lot of people out there were like, oh my God, they're stopping the auctions. Now, because they're stopping the auctions the way you know it, it's going to change everything. No, the auctions are never going to stop. Now, not until they change the way that they handle the government. Now, the auction, okay? So the auction now are once a week, supposedly, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the Dow being 27,000. Did that happen?
No.
I told you that wasn't going to happen. I told you. It's easy to be a pessimist. No, it's easy to be a pessimist. But it's even easier to understand what you're looking at and understand what it is and call it for what it is. You see what I'm saying? I can sit here and make a bunch of wild-ass predictions. You guys know what? If I wake up tomorrow, here's my new prediction on the RI. If I wake up tomorrow and put on underwear,
stop it.
Then there will be a revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. Yes.
Revaluation or a reinstatement?
A reinstatement and a reevaluation, both at the same time.
Oh.
Because there are 800 numbers about to pass out in 15 seconds.
You don't know.
1-800-BIG-MR-BRANDO.com, and you buy a shirt. Reinstatement will happen. If you guys don't get off this crap and this Mark Z crap, my God, Mark Z is nobody. My God, quit paying attention to bullshit. Finally realize what you're reading and what you're understanding to be what it is, geopolitics. It's not about God. It's not about money. It's not about Trump. It's not about politicalism. It's not about what some of these people want to make the facets of this investment to be. It is what it is. It's not about God. It's not about Trump. It's not about the bank. It's not about Dow. You know what it's about? Mm-hmm. It's about the Treasury Department of the United States of America. Mm-hmm. It's about the administration that's taking helm right now. Mm-hmm. It is. It has something to do with that, right? Mm-hmm. Not saying Trump directly, but the administration, right? Mm-hmm. It has a lot to do with the IMF. Mm-hmm. It has a lot to do with the Central Bank of Iraq. If you want to concentrate on those things, then you're on the right channel. If you want to talk about dragons and family and all this other crap, and then you know what you need to do? You need to check off of me and go check on to somebody else. And I'm just being honest, because if you are, you're looking for the wrong signals.
Why are you going down this rabbit hole tonight?
Because I have seen on my platform someone page stuff about Mark Z. I've heard every individual in the universe tell me about my homeboy, and I like him a lot, Dinar Investor. What about the Dow? Well, the Dow didn't hit what it was supposed to hit, and it's not right now. So what I'm trying to tell everybody is, let's go back to the things that I know work, which are benchmarks. And let's check those off my list, mm-hmm. and then I'll go to every other person's platform and say, well, I can prove why they're wrong. I can prove why they're wrong. I can prove why they're wrong. No one's going to be 100%. Being 100% in this game means I'm at the bank. I'm not 100%. They're not 100%. If they're not talking about benchmarks that Iraq needs to clear to get to the bank, then I don't want to talk about it. I'm not here for that. I'm not here about how Trump's the best president in the world. I'm not here to hear about Obama sucks. I'm here to hear about how Iraq's going to take me to the bank. That's why I'm here. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And if I hear anybody else tell me about it, I'm going to tell them, shut it off. I love you to death. And I love Trump to death. I love all presidents to death until they don't do what I need them to do. And then I love nothing to death. I denounce all of them. You see what I'm saying? So don't tell me how great somebody is, because I didn't hear any super great announcement from the political department yesterday, which was Trump. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the great news that he announced yesterday? Nothing. He had a parade. Great. He should have a parade on 4th of July. Every president should. For me finding out presidents hadn't had one in many, many years, that's shame on all those other presidents. Good job, Trump. But not good job on the rest of it.
Did the Minister of Education ever get voted in?
Hell no.
When can we expect that to happen?
That was supposed to happen this week. The problem with Iraq is that they're on their own time frame. And for me to sit back and try to tell you that I know the time frame better than somebody else is a lie. All I can do is tell you what the news tells me.
Mm-hmm.
And what the news tells me, I can interpret and give you an honest opinion. But beyond that, I can't tell you that. That's going to offend a lot of people that are out there right now, probably 500 or so of them, right? I've had as many as 700 of those people on here. First platform ever to take live calls on YouTube. First platform ever to take calls and to take answers live on chat. First person ever. I don't care about being first. I care about being correct. And being correct right now doesn't mean that the Dow does anything. Because let me tell you this, the Dow means nothing. The Dow has nothing to do with the Iraqi Dinar. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to make you guys understand.
Mm-hmm.
If it did, when it hit 26,996, it would have changed. It didn't. So get back on the task at hand. The task at hand is study, and the task at hand is understanding. I've out-survived all these haters. I've out-survived all this bull crap. I'm not going to get out-justed by somebody or some person or some idiot like Mark Z who's going to sit there and tell me, well, it's the betterment of all kind. No, it's not. If I sit here and lie to you guys and don't tell you the truth, you know what's going to happen? You're going to leave. Kind of like if I lie to you and not tell you the truth as my wife, pretty soon you're going to leave. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather have a few, like I've said, a few that are strong than many that are weak. It makes no sense. So understand, I'm not going down that. When you guys send me stuff from other people, I don't listen. I'm not about that.
Well, I think they just want you to
hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Don't send me anybody's shit.
I think they just, they want you to just, listen to them.
Listen, I can read the news for myself, and I can make myself understand what it is. I don't need to hear another YouTuber, especially another person that's platform has nowhere close to my type of involvement with the people, where they're talking to these people every day, where they're on Patreon, where they're on the Facebook, if they're on Twitter, if they're on this. Yeah, I take days off because I have to, but I don't take days off from the investment because I don't want to. I just tell you guys, I don't need to take days off. I don't need to hear anybody else's nothing. Just being real with y'all. Don't send me anybody else's stuff because they're full of crap. I'm not full of crap. I'm not convoluted in any way. Maybe wrong, but I'm not convoluted. And I think a whole bunch more of you guys feel just like I do. If I had to answer my own self, I would look and say, you know what? There's a whole bunch more people that are just like me that are not like me.
You gonna read the news or no?
Yeah, I'm just looking at this. No nonsense. That's absolutely right. All blessings come from the Lord, just not monetary blessings. And then you could also argument the fact that all things that good don't come from the Lord. I'm sorry. I think we got to understand that there's a lot of bad things that happen in this world. There's a lot of good things. You can't attribute just one to the other. And I'm not going to do that. Mass graves. Now, I'm going to announce this news. Mass graves containing the remains of 19 policemen was found outside of Mosul. In Newell province, the police discovered a mass grave containing the remains of 19 policemen who were executed in the southern Mosul, a police source said on Wednesday. The deal of the century will soon launch the steps of its Middle East counterparts plan known as the deal of the century, the White House said Wednesday. On June 25th, Kushner revealed the economic aspects of the peace plan at a conference in Bahrain. And hold Hold on real quick here, y'all. I lost something. Iraq sidesteps the U.S. sanctions of Iranian energy. I told you guys, as long as there's a SWIFT, as long as there are chips, I don't care how Iraq now trades with Iran, as long as they trade within dinars or euros, because we know that the chips has been cut off from them, which is a Japanese form of a closing house out for the currency. And we know that SWIFT is closing out for U.S. dollars. So I don't care how they pay Iran now. They could pay them in pebbles or coins. It doesn't make a difference to me at all. You know what I mean? And somebody asked me earlier, hey, Mr. Brando, what were you out doing with PB today? What were y'all out doing? You know what I was out doing today? I was out buying currency. Because you know what? Real estate brokers buy real estate. Stockbrokers buy stock. Crypto people buy cryptocurrencies. You know what I go out and do today? I go out and buy currency because that's what I believe in. That's my niche. That's what I believe in wholeheartedly beyond anything else. I believe in this fiat currency is going to make me a very wealthy individual one day. And you know what? To hell with everything else. Because without that fiat currency to take me to the promised land, it doesn't matter. I don't mean to sound negative. I'm just trying to tell you where I am. I'm out buying currency because currency is going to take me to the promised land. Now, do I believe the currency is going to take a higher value? Absolutely, yes. You guys got to understand today that news about the CBI and them not doing business but once a week. You got to understand this about that. If you're not going to prop up your economy by doing the auctions, you got to prop up your economy by doing something else. It's no secret that they're getting rid of a lakh. So all of a sudden now they're getting rid of a lakh. Now all of a sudden you see something to change about the currency. Why is anybody asking a question about that? Why is anybody asking the question about Christine Lagarde? Why is she being stepped down as central bank overseer of the universe? That witch. She's held up the investment too. A lack, a body healthy investment. Why are people not asking questions about the core competency about the investment? Why are they looking at it from, well, if the Dow hits 27,000, well, you know what? The Dow didn't hit 27,000, but you know what? The central bank still had an auction. That's the question we should be asking. If you're going to change the auction structure the way it is, when's it going to change? I understand they say one day a week or one time a week, or whatever, but when? They didn't put an answer to that. I have the CBI findings for that. I'm not good. I'm good with it. I think it's freaking amazing news. But how is it that they're not stopping the auctions altogether and then forcing the reinstatement of the Iraqi dinar to take over the other segment of the investment? That's the questions you should be asking yourself. Because they've already told you guys, and look, Iraq commits to further advance the digital economy. They're going to advance their digital economy. So that means they're going to accept blockchain. So now all of a sudden you've got the smoothest and fastest banking system, which is their banking system. They're way more advanced than people give them credit. You've got the CBI changing hands. Now they're going to take over Creditcrat, not some proxy. Now you're sitting over saying, well, where are the bombs? Where's Maliki? Where's this crap? Nothing happened within the CBI, right? So nothing happened. There's no mass destruction. There's no storming of the green zone. There's no, besides Sauder's people arguing about electricity, but no one's in there arguing. So now you got to sit back and say, well, what benchmark isn't met? They just paid Kuwait the money that they owed them. They're down, I think, like another $48 million or $48 billion. It's some crazy number. They owe them very little dollars, right? So Kuwait's almost paid. That's a benchmark. They're about to seek the government. So now at this point, if they don't seek the government when we told them to, so now if they go into the next week, which is what, the week of the 10th, I'm looking at the week of the 19th to say, well, heck, if it isn't all done by then what benchmark? Benchmark, not Dow, not some weird thing I'm supposed to see on a calendar, not a two-headed dragon supposed to dance with a pixie on Ariel from the new, what do you call that? What is that? The new Disney movie that's coming out, the Disney movie, the one with Ariel, the mermaid. I don't care about any of that crap. You know what I care about? The benchmarks. When the benchmarks are set, the benchmarks are done, then you know what's going to happen. The investment's going to move forward. And until those benchmarks are set and those benchmarks are done, I'm going to report the news. Not some superficial crap that someone brings to me. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Because until you can prove me differently, I'm right. And I'm not trying to say it in a bad way. I'm trying to tell you that I'm a good way because you know what? The facts are the facts. If you want to cloud it with misjudgment and stepping off the deep end, then you're on the wrong platform. Step onto a platform that believes in mermaids and fairy tales and all sorts of crap, or that your political beast is going to make this go through. No, it doesn't matter that way. you guys got to understand that Trump doesn't have anything to do with the investment. And that's an ugly thing to say, but it's not the ugly thing to say to the fact that Trump himself, I'm talking the administration. Now, if the Treasury Department teams up with the IMF and this person and that person deems this to happen, it's going to happen. But you want to know where we're at with the stalls? The stalls are between the IMF, the United States Treasury, and the CBI. Those, if you have a stall, is where the stall really, really is. Now, why are they stalling? I think the CBI, more than the IMF or Treasury, has an actual date in mind. And I'm not just saying that to say it. I'm saying that I think that they have a strategic plan. They want to do it on this. And if they didn't want to do it on that, they won't do it. But they're going to do it on that. Now, you get mad at me. You say I'm full of crap, whatever. I understand, but that's the truth. Sharon said, preach. Yeah, I'm buying currency. I ain't lying. I'm out today. I'm buying currency. You want to know what's real? I'm buying money. I'm buying the investment that I'm involved in. You know why I'm buying that money? Because I know it's going to change your future, my future, Daisy's future, and Moy's future. You know that? Mm-hmm. If I didn't believe in this like this, and this is where a lot of YouTubers go wrong. A lot of YouTubers will tell you, well, I believe in this, and they go out and buy. If I went out and bought, $500 worth of cryptocurrency today, I'm not true to the investment. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I'm true to the investment. I invest in things that I talk about on YouTube all the time that are going to make me more money. Okay? I believe in it so much that I put my money where my mouth is. I believe in it so much that I told you to join my gang, my crew, because they are going to prosper. Most of you guys are not going to understand this, but you'll be broke in 3 to 5 years. You'll be broke. And at that time, everybody will have pushed on, and you'll be sitting there telling me, you know what? What currency am I buying? I'm buying Iraqi Dinar. I'm buying Vietnamese dong.
What we bought today.
What we bought today.
What did we buy today?
We bought dong. We bought about 10, 15 million in dong. Bought about 2-3 million in Iraqi Dinar. No secrets. I'm not out here faking the funk, y'all. I was going to tell y'all about the news, but we're going to do this more casual. Post up my phone number. I'm going to take any phone call. Any person that's got a question about gold, asset backed. I want to talk about where we are in the investment, what's holding this up. If you got a real legitimate question, forget the news for a second. Let's just do this live, like how I wanted to do it live when I was back telling you guys this is what I do. I want to talk about really what's going on. Forget all the bull and just think about this. Where are you in your investment? Are you buying more of it? I don't know if I'm talking to Gary Larrabee or if I'm talking to Gerard or I'm talking to Trump as a business person. He's buying more real estate. If you're in this investment for who you are, what are you doing? I'm in this investment and I'm buying more currency. Every week, I'm buying more currency. I'm buying dong, I'm buying dinar. You want to know where I'm at? I'm buying dong, I'm buying dinar. That's where I'm at. No secret, no shame in my game. So if you want to know where I'm at, where my head is, do I think the dong will go first, the dinar will go first? It's so close, I won't even tell you, if that makes sense, right? But I will tell you this, I'm buying more currency. I'm buying more currency. I'm doubling up. For every day, for every week that they give me more time, I'm doubling up. Because it doesn't matter about mass graves. It doesn't matter about the governor of Baghdad has completed a list of the appointments for the education. That doesn't matter. It means nothing. You know what really means something? That you understand where you're at. And you know where I know where I'm at? I know where I'm at so closely that I'm buying more currency. I'm not hyping you to buy more currency. I'm telling you, as an investor, as a person in this right now, I'm buying more currency. Okay. Steve will tell you, if you don't know, now you know. Thank you. Hello? Hello?
Hey, this is Brando. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, sorry if I do a lot of the work. I have just one quick question for you, sir.
Go ahead, brother.
When we talked about on your last show about the inflation measures on the reinstatement, is there a way that can be predicted, or is it a guesstimate?
On inflation or on taxes?
on inflation, say the reinstatement to 322.
Yeah.
What's inflationary measures? How would that be configured?
Okay. So dig this, okay? And I'll hang up with you because obviously you're at work, okay? A lot of work going on in the background. I'll hang up. I'll answer your question though, okay? Have a good one, brother. And anybody call me. Anybody call me.
I've
You
already
got a
posted the
question?
number.
Call me.
All right.
You want to put me to the test? Call me. You want to ask me, you want to test my metal? Call me. I know what I'm talking about.
But what was his question? Go back to
About
that.
inflation.
Mhm.
What inflationary measures are in stake? Because you guys got to understand this, that everything that's happening with the dinar in country has been taken care of. They're ready for people to have a reinstatement because a dinar is only a dinar in country. When you go inside of Iraq and you go purchase something, a dinar is not worth $3.22 in country, or $4 or $6 or no dollars. It means nothing. A dinar is a dinar. So kind of like this country, they've set in place trade. They've set in place GDP. They've set in place currency count. They've set in place everything that they needed to do from a fiscal standpoint, including being cashless in the next. They're going to be cashless in the next 30 years. They're going to be cashless probably faster than the United States of America was. It only took 25 years for the United States of America to become cashless, from the exhibit of the debit card till now, right? So you got to think about all these things. No cash helps inflation. Having a great GDP helps inflation. Having no currency option is going to help inflation. All these things are going to make sure that your dinar stays true for a very, very long time. Okay? Who else out there has a question? Tammy, trying to stay cool.
What's left is what they want.
Well,
now.
we know this for sure. They need to pay off Kuwait. I know that for sure. Kuwait's part of the thing. Kuwait's got to be paid off. Go ahead. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Brando.
Hold on real quick. Let me answer one more call here. Greg.
Hello.
Hey, who's first and who's second?
Hey there.
It's Greg and Nicole. We're together.
Y'all are together?
Yeah.
That's cool.
You on Twitter on occasion.
We got 3 people on the line.
We got 3 people on the phone call? Oh, so
no, but they're on one call, and then you had the first call you took.
yeah, I added them all together. So we have like 2 or 3 people on one call, right?
Yeah. So you have Nicole.
Anyway,
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
anyway, just want to say hi, you guys, and gang, by the way.
Hey,
Gang,
gang.
Okay, here's the question.
Go ahead.
Or is it more of an experience that I had over at an exchange place that we had over here? We're here in Southern California, and I went into an exchange place in Beverly Hills who I've had several conversations with about potentially coming in with foreign currency.
Mm-hmm.
And that exchange has a relationship with a bank also in Beverly Hills. And so I called them today, and I wanted to kind of plan a scenario with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the scenario I said was that if I had Kuwaiti dinar, not Iraqi dinar, but Kuwaiti dinar, and I came in there with, let's say, $5 million of Kuwaiti dinar, how would that work? And so she basically said, well, the current rate today is $3.28 for the Kuwaiti dinar. And I said, so what would I owe you? How do you guys get paid? Acting stupid, obviously. And so she said, okay, based on today, that Kuwaiti dinar, we would buy that at $3.07 instead of $3.28. So that's basically a 7% charge. Now, and they did say that that was also negotiable, depending on how much money. And they also said, based on the currency, she says it could be 3% and maybe go up as high as 15%. And I said, well, what would cause that difference? And she said, well, it's based on the strength of that particular currency. Like, is it being devalued? And I said, well, I would never come in with currency that's being devalued. I would want to make sure that I was, coming in there with a high rate.
Right.
And so my question to you is, you or Pepe or anyone else, has anybody gone to that level?
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Has-
The question was what now?
The question is, have you or Pepe or anybody gone into these exchange places and kind of, asked that hypothetical question like I just did with my experience today?
Yeah.
Or our experience, me and Nicole.
We actually went into an exchange center here in Houston, Texas, and it's on Patreon. I know everyone's gonna say, well, he's saying Patreon. I went into Patreon. I filmed the home exchange. I asked them if I came in with basically an infinite amount of currency, as long as I let them know beforehand, could I exchange it for USD? The answer to that was unequivocally yes. And I said, could I talk about the spread? The answer, of course, was unequivocally yes. The spread at that point was not 20 cents. It was a little less. But they told me that if I came in there with enough currency that I could discuss the spread. So I know if I can discuss the spread in exchange plays, I could discuss the spread at a bank. So once I realized that, I already knew that, you know what, everything's negotiable. Everything is. Okay?
Right. And then, of course, too, Nicole and I both had an independent situation with another, nationally or, global bank that starts with a C. And so, yeah. And Nicole went in on one day and I went on another day. And so we got kind of like two different responses, meaning that when I went in there, I pretty much did the same thing, asking them the same scenario. And they said, well, if you had $1, let's say $100, that that they would they don't have a spread. They call it, what they do is they build it into the rate, or the buyback rate.
Really quickly, this is Nicole. Okay, the private banker told me that. I said, well, what is your exchange rate? I said, do I need to go to an exchange place and then they wire it? He said, no, we do everything in-house because of the private banking. He said, and also, I said, well, what is your exchange rate? He said, it's free. There's no charge. So I was led to believe there's no exchange rate, that basically they want you to bank with them, so they want you to put your money in the bank and it doesn't cost any money for any wires, any exchanges, as long as you're banking with them. That's the impression I got.
Okay, so let's talk about sell rate and buy rate. So if you're talking sell rate and buy rate, there's a spread between those two numbers, right? So if they told me there's no, let's just call it an exchange rate, so to speak, I would go in there and say, well, what is your sell rate? And if they told me that it was like I'm just using a fictitious number, this is totally fictitious, we're just doing a dry run, okay, guys? They told me that their sell rate was $1.25, okay? And let's say they told me their buy rate was $1. I'm going to go in there and tell them I want to negotiate that 25-cent spread in between the sell and the buy rate. And I also want to negotiate the interest rate that you're going to give me for putting my money in your bank account. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to understand there's two numbers you really want to focus on. One is the buy and sell rate. I agree 300%. But if I deposit my currency in your bank, which is a huge privilege, on big C, big B, big W, big whatever bank it is, I don't care who we talk about. What are you going to give me to do so? Now, I would also say this, because of our platform and what we're doing is, I would come on air and tell you guys, as Kanga Guru is my crew, what is my crew, all 5,000 persons of them, going to do, right? MG gang, gang, gang. Now, what are you going to give me to get on air to tell all my gang to go to this bank, big C, big W, big B's? You see what I'm saying? What are you going to give me to tell all my crew to go to your bank? Because they're going to have to give you something. Now, how do I know that they're going to give you something? Because if you go to my Patreon, you can hear me on the bank with a big nationwide bank, and they'll tell you they'll take deposits, and they'll also make available. You can deposit at the current rate. I've got those. I know they're going to do it. So even if you don't buy Patreon, know they're going to do it. Okay. So if they're going to do it, what are you going to give me? That's the main thing I want all you gurus and kangaroos out there to know. What are they going to give you to earn your business? Okay? So not just the spread, but understand this. What interest rate are you going to give me to put my money in your bank? Okay?
Well, here's another funny, yes, and here's another funny thing that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Is that basically, okay, we have a major exchange place here. They have been back ordered for dinar for the last 2 weeks. Ever since this reevaluation, they will not give up any money. But we found a little place that has dinars. So innocuous little place. We went today to go buy dinars, just like you and Miss Phoebe were doing today.
Yep.
And he said, we don't have any here, but we'll order you some and have it to you tomorrow. I just get a call like 5 minutes before you show. They say, hey, we have it here. You can come pick it up. So why is it that one can't get any for 2 weeks and one is just basic? In this place, I know a lot of people don't go here and buy dinars. It's a little check cashing place.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they can get it the same day. Don't you find that a little strange?
Yes. I'll tell you another thing I find a little strange. When you go into the exchange center, you can buy uncirculated lower denomination bills all day. Less than 20, right. You can buy 10,000, you can get 5,000, you get 1,000 all day long. But you can't get $25,000 notes, you can't get $10,000 notes anywhere. It's hard as hell right now, right? Now, what does that tell you? When we got in this as a crew, right? When there was only about 40 of us, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about this. When the exchange centers start to dry up, we saw it in the Middle East first. Because I already told you guys, Juan in the Middle East who works for DODs, and if you don't know, go to Patreon. I got that on there too. I record that conversation. I got that. When Juan told me, okay, and he's in the DOD, that he couldn't get dinar out of the United Emirates, that wave was slowly coming over to America. Now, you can't buy dinar over United Emirates for anything. I suspect, and I don't care about eBay, guys. eBay is a non-factor. I'm gonna give you guys a scenario. Let me give you an example. So let's say I'm a seller on eBay and I want to sell 100 million dinar, okay? And Miss BB contacts Mr. Brando and says, I'll buy all your dinar for $40. And I'm like, cool. I don't care what the rate is at that point, okay? And I say, cool, I'm gonna ship it to you. If Mr. Brando goes on Forex tomorrow and realizes that his 100 million dinars are worth $400 million, do you think Miss BB is going to get her money?
Of course not. I'm gonna keep it.
So eBay is null and void. It's person to person. It's not business to business. It's the same disclaimer that you've seen for months from your Exchange of Americas, Safe Dinars, all these other places. It's no secret. I'm not trying to be stupid.
What's the disclaimer? I'm sorry.
The disclaimer is this: if you buy reinstated or revalued currency, you're not going to get your currency what you paid for it. You're not. You're going to get what you paid for.
And then what about that disclaimer you had to sign at the exchange? Do you remember that? Do you remember?
That had nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. It kind of does tie in because it was like we never had to sign anything like that.
Okay, so you're talking about it's like know your customer, right?
It wasn't.
They want to know they want to see.
No,
my
that wasn't it. I'm sorry. No, you're going down the wrong.
No, you know what?
They said that they're letting you know that if it goes up, but they couldn't guarantee if it goes up or down. Remember that? That was the disclaimer. It wasn't know your customer.
But they wanted my driver's license?
I mean, but I'm not talking about that part. The other part was
Remember
weird.
how the other people always get our ID?
Yeah.
You know what else is weird too is that the place that's all back ordered, every single time we bought dinar there, they got a license, all of our information. But this other place that we go to, we just hand them the cash and they give us the dinar. And it's all low denominations. 10,000, 1,000, 500, 5,000. And they never ask for our ID.
But you can't buy 25,000, 50,000, none of those notes.
They don't have them. They only have 10,000 and down to 500.
Okay, so when they talk about lowering the note count, okay, if you can't get those notes in the United States of America or Canada or Guam or Indonesia or anywhere else, doesn't that tell you something? I told you guys large institutions were buying notes. 25,000, 2006, or 2004 through 2008. I knew that. So for you not to be able to buy notes, what does that tell you about the note count in Iraq?
It's lower.
It's got to be lower.
Yeah.
No joke.
The inventory is being depleted.
Right. Think about this. Everybody's always criticized Iraq about what? Having too high a note count. Well, here's a new theory for you, Dinar Land. What if they already knew the note count? They're already getting rid of a lot of you big note holders in banking inclusion. That's what all the state employees are doing with the bank. That's what Kirkuk's doing with the bank. That's what all these people are telling you. And Kirkuk's already been told, this is Kirkuk. This is Iraq. If you don't do business with me, I won't give you any money. They're only giving them money digitally now. They're going to be cashless in a little while. I suspect like 15 or 20 years, not 30. Honestly, think about it, kids. You ain't got to be smart to be in this investment. You got to be in the investment to know the investment, just like these kids are right here. Just like these guys are right here on the West Coast, just like we were earlier. When you go buy notes from a bank, and I'm over here looking at, why am I getting all these $5,000 notes? I thought it was kind of crazy. But now it makes sense. The note count's coming down, right?
Right.
Banking inclusion's going up. They're dropping the auctions. That came from the CBI. Okay? A lax being done away with. What does that tell you guys? If not now, when? If not now, when? And if not how, when, why?
Yeah.
You got to ask that question.
Well, it's like you said, if you're all the boxes are being checked off. We just want to make sure that all the boxes are checked off, and then once that's done, is when our eye.
That is the answer to the question. It's got nothing to do with Dow. And as much as I love your president and my president, it has nothing to do with our president. You know, it has everything to do with those little boxes being checked. Those people out of power that are in power, which is a lot, which I've said from the beginning. Okay? I didn't like Sauter in the beginning, but hell, Sauter gave them the thumbs up the other day, so I give them the thumbs up. I told you guys, it all has to do with logic. It has nothing to do with some fictitious bull crap. Don't buy into that. Buy into what you can see and read. And you know what? Thank you guys for being on the phone with me. I don't want to hold you guys. Do you guys have anything else to say?
No, that's it. Go ahead, Nicole.
Yeah, no, we appreciate talking to you guys.
Oh my God, call back anytime, for real. If you want to talk about facts, call me. You want to talk about the Dragon family and some other crap, call upon God, because I don't want to talk about it. I love you guys. Miss Bibi's giving me the steak eye, but I can't help it.
I didn't look
Absolutely. Hey, I just want to just end by saying I hope the Mark Z's of the world go away.
Oh my God. You too? You know what? I don't wish bad upon no human being. I swear. But you know what I wish? If someone else shows me, if you show me anything else from Mark Z, from Mountain Goat, from Currency 365, and I like him to death, Dinar Investor, any of the people that are on my platform that don't believe or subscribe to the same things that I do, don't show it to me. I love them to death.
Exactly.
But don't show it to me. Because I don't want to get out here and tell you guys, I got 800 numbers. I don't. There's no such thing.
We're part of the Kanga Guru crew. So we back you guys 100%.
Gang, 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 all day. Thank you.
Gang, gang, gang.
All right, you guys take care. Have a great weekend.
You guys have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
The other person hung up. They said they'd call back. I told them.
Tell them to call me back, man. For real. Let's chop it up. Daisy, let's talk about it. Can we be smiling in a week? Absolutely. We know now that because of the FMLA, the FMA, that we know the currency auctions are changing. I think there's a slight holdup, really, because of them not getting those special grades seated, not for anything else but the CBI governor. I think that's a small hold up until we know where we're at with the SBA, because you guys got to understand something. On the 19th, they got to put forth a central bank governor in front of the IMF to talk about where they're at. So if a lot's not going to be that person that sits in on that meeting, who will? Those are the questions you got to be asking yourself. Forget anything else. Who is you? Hey, Derek. Hold on, I'm gonna add another call to you right now. Hold on, I'm gonna add one more call. We're taking 2 callers at the same time. Ain't it lying? Okay, I got 2 callers on here. Who's who and who's who?
Okay.
Hello?
I'm Nora Hernandez.
Oh, that's Nora. I know Nora. Hey, Nora.
And then who's
Hi,
the
Brandon.
That's my friend Nora. She's in California. And who's the other person? They're in Missouri.
Yeah, I'm in Kansas City. Well, I'm on vacation right now in Raleigh, but from Kansas City, originally from Santa Cruz, California.
Bet. So what? Okay. Who? I always say ladies first, but Mr. Missouri, you may not want to do that.
Yeah, ladies first. Ladies first. It's okay. It's all good.
Ms. Nora, what do you want to say, honey?
Okay, so today I was at the mall, and the lady at the exchange in the mall where I buy my currency said they don't have any more currency. I did ask her if she knew if she was going to have any more in the future. She said that at this time they were not getting any communication regarding that currency and that they didn't know what was going on.
And Nora, what currency was that?
This was the Iraqi dinar.
So you went to your local exchange dealer, and my friend Nora is in California, y'all, and I'm not going to say where. And she went to an exchange center, and she asked, "Can I buy more Iraqi dinar?" And they told you no, right?
They told me no. They said that they didn't have any more, that they ran out of the currency. Then I asked her, was there a possibility that I could put an order, or can you let me know when you're going to have more?
Now,
They said that.
Ms. Nora, can I ask you a question, honey?
Yes.
How long have you been following me?
Since like January, or at the end of January, at the beginning of February.
I will tell you all this. Miss Nora's been following me since I started. Me and Miss Nora, we usually talk at least once a week by phone conversation. I'm not putting her up to that either, okay? Now, when we got involved in this in our old talks, and I told her when we were small, remember, Miss Nora, we were real small back then, remember? And I said, once you start seeing the money dwindle, go down, the note count changes, you're going to see something positive happen. I'm not saying a week. I'm not saying a day. I'm not saying a month. Hell, I don't know. You want me to know the truth? I don't really know. But I know this. With all the indicators that are in play right now, based upon what we do know, something's happening right now, today. It may not change today, but we know that we're on. That's why I'm out buying currency. I'm dancing. Once I heard that news about the auctions, it made everything make sense. Okay? Nora, I love you.
Did you answer your question?
Did I answer your question?
I love you, Mrs. Didi. Yes, you did. Thank you very much for the call. It has been great. Just the whole process has been great. I have learned a lot, and everything that you have put out in your show, it's really worked out, because I actually been involved for like the last 10 years. And before meeting you, I was in the dark. I didn't even know if it was a real deal. I used to hear about aliens, the Chinese dragon family, and everybody thought that I was crazy. And I'll be really honest, there were days that I thought maybe I'm crazy.
Crazy!
But when you started coming out with articles like 13303, and I would go Google it and I would read, and everything you still pull out, I go and double check because I want to know. And I have learned through you and through Ms. Bibi that knowledge gives you that power. So now when they tell me I'm crazy, I'm like, that's fine. I'll be laughing going to the bank.
Right. 13303.
Exactly.
13303. Article 39 to substantiate that. Capital gains has come out recently from President Trump. Here is the strategic plan from 2018 to 2022. All of this is literature. It's not made up crap. It's not made up. I can't make this stuff up. I can't write this well. Does that make sense? I don't write this well.
So that's why I think I stayed with you guys. That's why I think your numbers, we have more members and people more involved. It's because of what you're giving us, and then we get the opportunity to go and look at it and find out, like, okay, this is not something pull out of, some guru or some dragon family or whatever.
There's no mystery here, y'all. I would love to tell you guys. There's mystery here. There's none.
Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate it. I look forward every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to look at my TV and you. And now that we're at the your other, what is it, the Patreon
and Nora's a member of Patreon, and Nora's a member of every group. And Nora, you know what? If she doesn't understand something, she calls. You know what I tell Nora all the time? Having faith is one thing, but having divine intervention is another. Divine intelligence means this. We have faith, but we understand we have faith. That's why what you're doing is not crazy.
So I appreciate it, and thank you for everybody who does call, because everybody's questions, I learn from everybody as a group.
Yep.
And I appreciate it. Thank you, Mrs. Bibi. Thank you,
welcome.
Madeline, and thank you everybody who called.
Have a good one, Nora.
Nora, shout out, South California, salute. For real. All right, I got one more caller here. Let me get to the second caller.
So, Mr. Santa Cruz?
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Nora. No, Missouri. Mr. Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, I'm Derek. I'm here.
Derek, what's your question, comment, or answer, or something?
Well, first of all,
You laugh.
Is you live? Derek, is you?
no, I'm liver than live.
Love it.
First of all, I want to give a big shout out to you guys. Just appreciate everything you guys do. This is interesting because I actually was raised in East Africa my whole life. So I'm used to exchange, the monetary exchange, and seeing world powers go up and go down, governments overthrown, all kinds of stuff happening, and watching it go down firsthand growing up. I guess my biggest question, and it's possible that, I think I've tuned into almost every podcast that you guys have done on YouTube for the last, I don't know, maybe February. But I typically don't chime in. I just listen and then research myself. But my dad is actually the one that got us involved in this about 5 or 6 years ago, right before ISIS and the whole thing in 2012. But his whole thing is waiting for the 1-800 numbers. Can you please, for the sake of myself and anyone else that is possibly confused, because my understanding is that the 1-800 numbers or the 800 numbers that were out were supposed to protect someone who had that from essentially losing a dip in the exchange. Why is it false, and could you just dispel that whole dynamic?
Absolutely. I'll do it real quick, okay? So let's say you're a dinar holder, right?
Right.
And first of all, how would I have your information to call your phone number to tell you that there were 1-800 numbers to exchange the Iraqi dinar? How would they know that? Did you sign up for a flyer?
Or by like an email address or something? I don't know.
Sure. I mean, let's just say something is totally superficial, like an email address. Like you maybe inquired on like Safe Dinar, okay? And Safe Dinar sold their information, and they told everybody, look, we're going to sell our mailing list or our phone list to everybody out there, and there's an 800 number. Well, they don't know if you made a purchase. That's fun. Number two is this. If I was going to set you up, and I was a dinar holder, and I was to go down and research every person that was on every call for Mr. Brando for 6 months to a year, and I was a thief, I could get a Google phone number for basically nothing. I'm just guessing. I could probably get a Google phone number that had an 800 number for basically nothing also, okay? If I was to go through my phone list based upon your email address, which is attached to your IP address, which is attached to your homes, I basically have an enlisted phone number or an enlisted amount of accounts that were people I would suspect had Iraqi dinar, right? If I was going to set you up to do bodily harm to you, or to kidnap you, or to basically put a stronghold on you, I would use like the kidnappers in Mexico, and say, hey, look, I kidnapped you and Derek, come to this exchange center, to this parking lot of the Jack in the Box and MLK, and you come over there and I grab you, right? If I get 1 or 2 a week, what do you think that does for the economy?
Well, to me, it's interesting too, because my dad was like, well, you don't have to worry about it because I already got it, so you can just use my number. And in the back of my brain, I'm like thinking, if that's the case, couldn't any Joe Schmo out there use anybody else's 800 number to guarantee a rate? Because like overseas, like, okay, so like in Kenya, when we lived there, obviously any given month the exchange rate, or any given day the exchange rate could change based on what was going on in the global economy. You know, some days we might, you know, get our monthly support and we would go exchange it. It might be 57, you know, shillings to every dollar, or, you know, up to, you know, 87 shillings to a dollar, or all the way down to like 37 shillings to a dollar, which was great for the local economy, but hurt us, you know. So I just thought it was interesting that this whole 800 number had anything to do with a reevaluation of currency.
I agree with you. If you guys note back to the article that came out this week that talked about the group of people that were talking about the devaluation of the Iraqi dinar, I get this crap on Twitter all the time. They say, well, Mr. Brando, please go out there and tell them it's a devaluation. Or not, please. They tell them how it's a devaluation. You idiots, not you guys, okay? Not you guys. When I say idiots, when I say people that think a devaluation in translation to them means, couldn't you understand that if I had 25,000 dinar, if I told them we're going to exchange those for $25 notes, that would be a devaluation. That'd be a minus. Okay?
Sure.
And being an Iraqi doesn't make you super smart. They have no clue. I've talked to Iraqis all day, all night, for damn near 5 years. People from Iraq, you know what they all tell me? They don't believe in the reinstatement. They don't believe that their money's going to have any purchasing power. So can't you understand that if you told them one day $25,000 was not worth $25,000, it was actually worth 25,000 divided by 1,000, basically, one?
Sure.
They're going to see that as devaluation. That's why you got to understand this. If I go to the bank and exchange my dinar, it really means nothing to you. Does that make sense? But if I take that same dinar, that same $25,000 note, and go into the marketplace, in the retail, okay, and I go to give them, and they tell me, no, look, you want to buy a loaf of bread? A loaf of bread is not 25,000 or 5,000 dinar. Now it's 500 dinar. Here's 20,000 dinar in return. That's when the person that's in Iraq will understand what the reinstatement of the Iraqi dinar is. Not now. Exactly. Just like you don't know what the value of a dollar is. I bet you dollars and donuts. I'd put up $500 right now without using Google if someone could tell me what the actual value of the US dollar is right now. You don't know. Just like I don't know.
Well, I guess to follow up that question, then, is there anybody verifying whether or not they've been printing lower notes?
Me? I have. I ask all the time. You know what the answer to that is?
So they do have lower notes already printed.
There's lower notes printed. We know that because of the series of notes that came out last time. But no lower notes are available right now. There's no $50 note out right now. That's KFTA bullshit. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That's not true. That's not true at all. There's no lower notes out.
Think of it like this: like they're gonna have that printed, given that even if the RI happened this month, holy crap, they'd have to have that in place.
Keep going.
Bread, just like you said, it's going to be like a dollar.
Exactly.
$1 or a dinar might be like 50 cents or 25 cents, and if they don't have that currency in place, then what the heck are they going to be able to do? And the weird thing is, like 3 days ago, right after I listened to one of your podcasts, I clicked on something else that came up as a recommendation on my YouTube. And I wish I could remember what it was, but it was kind of an advertisement in regards to somebody that was talking about some cards that are being printed primarily for the Iraqi population. They're being sold through Amazon, and it's giving them the ability to just like a bank card or an ATM card or something, so that they can have digital currency available through, like through their actual quote unquote dinar without. What I was taking from it is essentially it allows them to purchase something at like a $5 be like a $5 dinar or $3 dinar thing without like going, oh my gosh, I only have a $25,000 note or a 25,000 dinar note. Does that make sense? So anyhow, I thought it was crazy that all of that was taking place. Not to mention, if we could throw out this whole thing with Trump, quote unquote. It's not being admitted whether or not this is, verified or not, that he's purchased 3 million.
Think about this. Think about Trump owning $5 trillion in dinars. Think about this. If you're Donald Trump and you're the president of the United States, and if you are going to get tried for treason, right? And you made Iraq reinstate their dinar. Don't you think they'd try him for treason? Think about it.
Why would they try him for treason?
Why would they?
Yeah.
Because you can't use your presidential powers for your own personal benefit. That's why. It's against the law. Can't do it.
What if? Okay, so then what was this whole thing that he came out with that press release and said in the next couple of weeks we're going to be announcing something really big?
Well, could you not see that being capital gains? Think about it. If you're Trump and you own real estate,
it could be taxes.
It could be anything. He never said. It's speculation.
But to me, it's just mind-boggling the amount of stuff that's coming out all within the last, 30 days, 45 days. Like, I'm just going, what the heck is happening right now?
Exactly. Mind blown. I'm sitting here stupid. I could read the news every day, and I do. And I can sit back and tell you, am I any smarter than I was a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago? No. I'm actually dumber. I'm dumber.
Why do you say that?
Because the news took me to such a crescendo up until the last week and a half. And it brought me down to such a low point this last weekend.
I know what he's talking about because this is the truth. The more you travel, like by the time I was 12, I had already flown across the world about 4 or 5 times. So the more you travel, the smaller the world becomes. Like, I still end up meeting people to this day. I'm 38 years old, and I still meet people that I met when I was like a kid traveling all around the world. So, and you realize how small the world is. The more you dig into something, almost the infinite possibilities, not to mention feeling like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was an expert on this, and now I feel like a complete idiot. So I totally understand that whole dynamic, especially when you recognize there's so many people at play here. There's so many dynamics that are all happening at one time, and it's, someone like myself, obviously, you want to hold on to this. When can it happen? When is it going to happen? Everybody is in this hopeful state.
Okay.
But I just...
Let me tell you this, because I'm getting a lot of people out here to saying, well, that's not treason. It's not treason. No, it's not. But a president can't use the United States policies and its government for its own personal financial gain. It's illegal. You can't do that. That's part of being a president. I'm sorry. That's part of you disclosing your tax records to the United States public. They want to know what you're profiting on, what you're not profiting on. Now, I will tell you this, and I mean this. I know U.S. senators that hold dinar, personally, that listen to this podcast, that tell me all the time, senators that are actual senators in Senate right now, that say, you're on to something, keep going, okay? I know ex-Congress people and people in Congress.
You can't for 1 second believe that when the whole thing was going on the Gulf War with Kuwait and that whole revaluation that took place under wraps, where the general population didn't really know what was going on, you can't tell me that there weren't politicians who weren't getting in bed with all of that, knowing and making deals, knowing that all of that was taking place.
Right. Exactly. So here's a big question mark for everybody that wants to believe one way or the other. And listen, Pimpe, you're out here saying, I'm not a pro or I'm not against Trump. You're misunderstanding my point.
Well, he just got into the chat. So
and that's my point. Get your fucking feelings out of it. God dang it. I'm sorry. You guys got to understand this. It's bigger than Trump. You're talking about a global. What we're talking about right now is the reinstatement of a sovereign nation, not Trump. Trump didn't bring this war to my doorstep. Bush did. Okay? Bush told me that my dinar was under 13303 and Article 39, not Trump. I'm not a pro-Trumpkin. I'm not against Trump. But I'm not going to big up somebody and big down somebody because of who's in office or my political affiliation. It has nothing to do with that. And by the way, for every swinging in here, my political affiliation is Republican. I am a diehard Republican. She's the Democrat. I'm a Republican.
I ain't say nothing.
I'm telling you now, I'm not in here to be right. I'm in here to go to the bank. Geopolitics is a real thing. They don't teach it in school.
The crazy thing that a lot of people don't recognize is that currency stays. It kind of has its own, even though it's affiliated with government, it has its own thing. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people don't understand the dynamic of like a currency being a currency, even though a politician might be in power.
A currency is a currency, like a nuclear weapon is a nuclear weapon.
Exactly. And so many people get on this whole crazy train about who's in office, and I understand that they have like gigantic influence, just like we saw what the crap happened with Obama when he was in presidency. Now, I am all for an African-American president, but I am not for what goes on with any politician, white, green, black, brown, you name it, when there are dealings that are going on that destroy the forward movement of any nation.
Do you know what that's called?
In a positive way.
Do you know what they call that in Iraq? Do you know what they call that in Iraq? They call it secretism, where you get promoted or you get a bigger job because you're a member of a tribe, or you're a member of a group, or you're a member of Exactly. Think about this, guys. It ain't brain surgery. There's harder things to figure out. Now, what you got to ask yourself is this: what's it going to take for them to reinstate their currency if those benchmarks are done? That's the question we all ought to be asking each other right now.
Yeah, I guess that's the biggest thing, and I think I posted this question just earlier in the chat before I called. Mm-hmm. But what is left? If we could just label what are the 1, 2, 3 things that are left before a reevaluation is going to actually materialize?
I'll answer that. Number one, you got to see a fully seated GOI, not the Minister of Education.
Minister of Education.
Yeah. Number two, if the special grades are up, you at least have to see a central bank governor. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because we know the central bank is independent of the government of Iraq. They can act free, they can do whatever they want, blah, 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 right? They had to pay off Kuwait. Kuwait's about paid off, okay? I'm trying to think. Hold on. Let me get back to this page. I'll read the rest of it to you. 2 seconds.
Okay.
They have to establish Article 8, which is achieving economic reform in all bases: financial, monetary, banking, and commercial. Okay? They have to at least have a practical partnership for Article 140.
So I guess the whole thought where people go, hey, it could potentially revalue this next week. Is that even a freaking possibility?
Yes.
Understanding what you just labeled?
Yes. Because I'll tell you why. Because at any point they could put in a Minister of Education. At any one point, they could get a new CBI governor. At any one point, if they did one before the other, they could have forefront for another. Go ahead.
So, okay, wait, your list, fully seated
Okay.
GOI,
Yep.
special graded positions was the CBI governor.
Governor,
and
yes.
what was the other thing?
Oh, you made me forget it. The HCL. So that's Article 8. Part of Article 8 is them reinstating their currency. So you're down to 3, okay?
What about 140?
Article 140 basically Article 140, not Article 8. Article 140 is what I'm talking about. They've got to get under, like, this is my whole thing about Article 140. They've already basically settled it when the whole country went underneath the state of Iraq. So, yeah, they've got to implement it and make it go forward. But post reinstatement tells you that what they're doing is with Article 140, they're going to have a reinstatement of their currency. When they have a reinstated currency, they're going to pay the citizens accordingly. Do actually devalued, if you want to, devalued monies. Not devalued as far as international is concerned, but devalued meaning that a $25,000 note is now $25. It has nothing to do with the note actually itself holding less value.
So I just want to make sure, as far as the list of what's left to do, fully seated GOI, the special graded positions, the CBI governor,
Especially.
and then the third thing is Article 140, the HCL.
Yeah, and Article 8. And Article 8 is the last thing.
So Article 140 and Article 8.
Article 140 and Article 8 are the last things you're looking for.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
If you want to know the truth.
But like you said, at any given moment, technically speaking, they could still flip the switch even within the next 7 to 10 days.
Or 24 hours.
Right. But my point is so people don't freak out going, oh, well, this has to do with it. That's not going to happen, blah, 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 blah. At any given point, even though we know that these things still have to be in place, at any given second, we can still expect a flip.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
I'd say absolutely yes. And I'll tell you why. Think about this. Article 140 and Article 8 are basically post reinstatement terms, right? If you really want to think about it, you're not going to give your citizens non-reinstated currency because you don't have enough of that physical currency itself to pass it out. Now, you want to give it to them digitally? I get it. You want to give it to them digital? I get it. So you want to pay them in, like, each person gets a credit or blah, blah, blah. But they don't have enough banking inclusion at this point, I don't believe, to where they feel comfortable doing that. That's my guess, okay? Now,
right. And the crazy thing is that any person could go into their local bank if they did have a printed currency, if the banks were holding it, and say, "Here's my 25,000 note. I need to have."
Or I'm a body. I have 40,000 ghost employees and I need checks for them. Think about it.
Exactly.
Pay me 40,000 at 50 cents a person, or even $1 a person, a dinar, whatever. You see what I'm saying? 40,000 times one person. That's a theft. You feel me? And that's another reason why you want a body in there. A body's a thief. A lock's a thief. Either you're going to see Interpol come down on a lock and rain hellfire on his butt, or he's going to smooth off from his other job, just like Christine Lagarde, and you'll never hear from him again.
Absolutely.
Man, this game, I'm telling you guys, I love you guys to death, but when you ask me about Patreon, and when I talk about, this is a Patreon conversation. I don't get this real no more. I don't even talk like this anymore on here.
Well, you've been going for about an hour.
I've been a single dad
Hour
for
and 20
5
minutes?
years, so it's one of those tough things, But we love what you guys do, and I just so appreciate everything.
Yeah, thank you, Derek, for calling.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Can you set me up on Patreon? Can I just talk for 10 minutes real quick? Can we do that real fast?
If you want to break in between.
Can we have a break 5 minutes in between? I'm going on Patreon. Join me at patreon.com/Mr. Brando. I want to get some things off my chest about where we're at right now. And I want to talk numbers. I want to talk real numbers. And I can't do that on YouTube because every time I look up, YouTube is demonetizing me for telling the truth.
Yeah. So
can we go on Patreon real quick and have a real gang conversation?
Okay.
Please. And have Mr. Pepe call me on my other channel.
Okay.
Or Jason or Derek. Is that you, Derek?
Yeah.
If you're not on my Patreon, will you call me in 10 minutes so I can get you on Patreon so we can have a real conversation for 10 minutes, please?
100%.
Yeah.
Damn straight. Okay, guys. I love you guys. I've been on here for like an hour and 15 minutes.
Thank
I'm
you,
going on
Derek.
Patreon in what, 10 minutes, babe? Whatever she tells me to.
8:30 we'll go on Patreon.
8:30. So call back, Derek. We're gonna have a real conversation about monies and where the money values really are and where I'm at really in my head real quick. Want to know what time frame? I'll tell it to you. It's gonna be on Patreon in 15 minutes.
Thank you, Derek, for calling. And I guess we're signing off, you guys, right?
Sign off.
All right. Good night,
Give
everyone.
me 15 minutes. I'll see you guys on Patreon.
Bye.